Evening, everybody. We are back to Big Man Campus, and we are live. It's March 5th, 2017. We're on the precipice, people, of March Madness. Tomorrow is really the new unofficial start. Obviously, last week you had some conference tournaments begin as well, some of the smaller schools. But, now that the regular season is over, now we really delve into the good stuff, the meat of the March tournaments, and kind of brace ourselves for our descent into March Madness. A lot to go over tonight. This show, I think people are going to enjoy. It's definitely going to be a great reference point for anyone out there looking to make some money with futures or just kind of get you prepared for the tournament in general. It's going to be a nice primer, a good reference point, like I said, to basically kind of give you something on everyone. Not every team, clearly, but every conference. Give you a little bit of information, a little bit of background on the tournament, and kind of my opinion on kind of where these teams are, what they're going to be all about come March, and if they can ultimately win their tournament, are they going to get into the tournament? All sorts of stuff. I'm going to do it all for you today. So I hope everyone enjoys the show. If you're out there, please retweet it. Obviously, I'll pin the tweet and get it on. But, this show is really going to be about just kind of information and trying to help people out as they prepare for March. And, look, most of March and what money making is all about in March is knowing these teams and knowing these small conferences. And, if you like I do, know what you're doing in some of these small conferences, there really is some money to be made. Clearly, I've been on a nice run personally lately. Look, I've had a pretty good year personally. I mean, you look at, I was over at another website in November and December. I did well over there. I was up over, I think, 53%. I was right at, profit margin. But for me, in non-conference, I'm looking to stay above water and kind of get ready for the stretch run in January, February, and March. January, I basically broke even. I kind of hung around 50%. February, I've had a great February, and it's kind of really propelled me into March. So for me, it's all been about profit. Again, it's a 5-6 month journey. It's not... You're not going to make all your money in the first month or the first 2 months. You really have to be doing this the whole time, taking it seriously the whole time and preparing yourself, for March. So, we're in March. Let's jump into everything. If you have a question, feel free to give it to me. Again, I'll try to help whatever I can. As far as tonight's concerned, I have one play. It is in progress currently. It's not working out well starting out here. We've had a very slow start in this one. It might be over already. Look, again, can't win them all, but this one's not looking particularly good. I'll give it out. I'll let you know what I'm on. By the way, I'm 12-3 this week. So I guess in the scheme of things, it really isn't the end of the world if I lose this one. I thought it was a great spot. Thought it was a few too many points. I'm on the Samford Bulldogs plus 8. They're down 16 early, which just a horrible shooting start for this team. Really one that you don't want, obviously. But we'll see how it goes. Maybe they'll catch fire, maybe get this to a 10-point lead. But again, when you're playing East Tennessee State and they have 7 threes in 15 minutes, you're not going to get the job done, and you're shooting 26%. You're not going to get the job done. So let's kind of switch gears. That's where I'm at right now. We'll check back with that a little bit later. Please do not give me updates. I do not want updates. I'm trying to avoid. Donnie Wright said, "What's up, my man? How you doing? Did a great job hosting yesterday at SBR. Great stuff." Chotty K, Matthew, everyone out there listening. If you're out there listening, check in with us. Say hello. We're going to be on here for about an hour or so. And I'm just going to try to give you guys as much information as I possibly can. So tell your friends, share it with your friends. This is what you need for March Madness. Let's jump into it. I'm going to give basically just some info on each conference. Not going to go deep into it. I'm really kind of going to go into some of the small conferences, really try to give you some good information and kind of what I'm looking at. So without any further ado, let's get into it. ACC. Not a lot of time we're going to spend on this one. This one's going to kick off on Tuesday. Obviously, UNC, the top seed. This one's in Brooklyn, New York, at the Barclays Center. Look for me with futures and in-conference tournaments. clearly the number one seed, you're not going to get a ton of value in backing that. I guess from a surprise perspective, are there any teams that you maybe can set themselves up? Look, you look at a team like Duke. I mean, Duke Louisville. If they can get through to the semifinals, that'll be a pretty quarterfinals. That'll be a pretty good game. If they can get past the winner of NC State Clemson, Duke Louisville would be a great one. Listen, for me, personally, I would take a shot with Notre Dame in this bracket. I think the 3 seed, they're a team that they avoid Louisville, Duke, UNC, Syracuse, and Miami in the first round. Again, would set up to play Virginia, but I think they can beat Virginia. I really do. Virginia beat them in the regular season, but again, that was when Virginia was playing really good basketball. I think Notre Dame, if they had another shot at Virginia, they would probably beat them in a one-game playoff sort of thing. Notre Dame, again, then would face the winner in the FSU Virginia Tech game or Wake or BC. They have a pretty decent road to the final. If they can get past, Virginia, obviously FSU is going to be tough. But again, don't have anyone really totally worth, writing home about until the final. So, you're going to get a good price on Notre Dame. Maybe they're worth a look in this one. I think they have the tools to make a run not only in this tournament but in March Madness. Maybe you want to look out for the 3 seed again. But, I don't have too much on this one. But, I think Notre Dame has some value, especially if you can get them, they'll probably be in the 400 to 600 range, maybe even higher. So, but other than that, not a particular conference I'm looking for. Again, as far as from an ATS perspective, Miami's been hideous this year against the spread. They might be a team you want to bet against. Syracuse obviously has major issues on the road. They're a team you want to probably bet against. Georgia Tech as well. They had problems on the road all year. So a lot of ATS opportunities in this conference. What conference was the most profitable for you in the last month? Wow. Well, to be honest, probably some of these small conferences, like in the last week, 2 weeks. I've really kind of cleaned up in those. But as we go, I'll kind of give those. AAC, the American Athletic Conference, this one's going to be in Hartford. This is a quick one. I don't think there's a lot needs to go into this. Donnie, I think you can agree. This is a two-conference race here, a two-team conference race. This is going to be Cincinnati or SMU. And to be honest, I think SMU's tournament to lose. The one issue I have is they will have a roadblock, I think, in the second round. If UCF can get past Memphis, I think UCF could present a problem. They might be a dark horse in this tournament. If they could somehow get past SMU, I think they'll win this tournament. I like UCF. They present an interesting perspective from a standpoint of they're great defensively. They have a guy that is bigger than everyone else, and they're well coached with Johnny Dawkins. So you look out for UCF, but SMU. I mean, they've been great against the spread, 26-1, 26-1. This year to the number. So again, you're probably going to want to look out to them, not only in this tournament but in the big one. Cincinnati, I like, but again, I've had some issues with them. I don't know how good they are on the road. I've seen them at home; they're fantastic, but I wonder, how good are they away from Cincinnati? Had a big win today, in Connecticut, but look, the Huskies aren't very good, and they're not going anywhere this year. So. Mick Cronin's going to have to get this team to play well on the road for them to have a chance to win this conference. I don't think they can, but this is SMU's tournament to lose, if you ask me. Teams that are kind of on the bubble in this one, Houston would have to go probably to the title game. They're probably not going to get in. This is a two-bid league, SMU and Cincinnati, if you ask me. We'll see, but. Let's move on. Obviously, there's some of these conferences I don't have much interest in. This would be one I don't have much interest in. The A10 up in Pittsburgh. This is a Dayton VCU kind of final, if you ask me. I don't think, maybe a Rhode Island, if they can somehow, kind of continue to play well. They're a team that, starting five-wise, is very good. They're a team that, their starting five is probably one of the best in this conference. If they continue to play well and kind of go on one of those runs, they could very well win this tournament. But, they're in that Dayton bracket, but they should get to the semifinals. There really shouldn't be any excuse. They would have to face the winner of UMass Joe's or St. Bonaventure. Should be able to beat St. Bonaventure if that's the team. Dayton might be worth a look here. or Rhode Island might be looking. I'm sorry, but Dayton's very good. I will put this out there. If you can get Dayton at a high level future, I would put that in. They're well coached. They have a great starting five. A lot of seniors. They've been here before. I would look, and I am bullish on Dayton long term. I really think they're one mid-major that can definitely get to the Final Four. They just have that feel this year. I don't know. Big 12, not a whole lot on this either. Kansas, they don't lose in the Big 12. It's just kind of something that goes on. Maybe in Oklahoma State, if they can maybe somehow spring an upset in the semifinals against Kansas, I think they would win this tournament. I don't think there's anyone that I'm too concerned about. I don't think West Virginia, I'm not as high in them on the road as at home. I think people have kind of figured out their MO. Baylor, I think, is a fraud. Oklahoma State, 5 seed, could be a dark horse, but I'm not willing to bet against the Kansas Jayhawks, personally. Big East, again, another one. Again, I'm going to get into some of these a little bit more in depth. Some of these power conferences are kind of self-explanatory. And again, we haven't seen any lines yet, so this is kind of tough. Big East, Villanova, obviously going to be the 1 seed. Look, here's the problem with anyone else in this conference. Other than Butler, I don't think there's anyone that's anywhere near Nova. Butler beat them twice. I highly doubt if they were to get to the finals and play Butler, they would beat them 3 times in MSG. We've seen Nova bow out early in this tournament. I think the writing's on the wall this year. I think this is clearly by a wide margin Nova's tournament to lose. For me, I'm not interested in laying chalk, though. So I'll pass on this one, but look, wouldn't surprise me to see Nova kind of run away here. Butler's very good. I like them, but I highly doubt they win 3 in a row. Big Sky. This is an interesting conference. Now we're getting into some of the smaller schools and kind of where I'm really looking to make some money. First of all, I want to preface this and say, in the Big Sky, you get an opportunity to bet against Idaho State. You may want to do it. This Bengals team has had a tough year. They are the 10 seed in this conference. You look at their overall straight-up record, 5-25 this year. Really have just had major issues. They've won just 3 times in conference, and they're 8-19 against the spread. So, if you're right tomorrow in the first game, or Tuesday in the first game, against Sac State, you might want to fade the Bengals here. But this is a pretty good conference, honestly. There's 3 teams that I think are pretty good in this conference. Obviously, North Dakota, very high end in this conference. Quentin Hooker's a great player. They challenged themselves in the non-conference. Eastern Washington I like. Obviously, Jacob Wiley is a fantastic player. Bogan Bliznik. This team can score. 51st in the country in points per game. They've gotten a little bit better on the defensive end, but Jacob Wiley can drop 40 on you like no one's business. They've clearly, year after year, been a team that's going to score a ton of points. The problem I have with them is they seem kind of, not disinterested, but lazy at times. They just lost to Northern Arizona. They had a shot to share the Big Sky title, lost against the Lumberjacks. So they can take nights off for whatever reason. I just don't trust them on the defensive end. And Weber State I like, the Fighting Damian Lillards. I really like Weber. The problem with them is also on the defensive end at times. They struggle to rebound the basketball. They're not very big. Look, Jeremy Senglin's a great player, but what else do they really have? For me, I think North Dakota has kind of all the pieces that I'm going to look for. They're the best team in this conference. They have been a team all year that is just taking care of business. You look at their out-of-conference schedule, some decent opponents. You faced Iowa, North Dakota State, Northern Iowa, Wright State, North Florida. They face some decent out-of-conference competition. I think they win this bracket. They're the 1 seed, the road to Reno. Again, though, very good conference. Eastern Washington's pretty good. Weber's pretty good. Montana's always a decent team. Watch out for the high-level run-and-gun Portland State Vikings. There's some decent teams in this conference, and can maybe surprise for sure. So, again, if you're looking to bet a future in this one, North Dakota's going to be the chalk, but a couple teams, clearly you look at the bottom of this bracket, with, the 2 seed, Weber, Eastern Washington. That's going to be a great semifinal. So, maybe take a shot with North Dakota, but they're going to be the favorite in this one. Big West, out in Anaheim, you got the Cal Irvine Anteaters as your 1 seed. And look, this Cal Irvine team, been kind of a team we've seen here before. Mamadou Njai last year, still have Luke Nelson, still well coached under Russell Turner. Listen, this conference sucks. I'll be perfectly honest. Cal Davis, UC Davis, they suck. How they're a 2 seed, I don't know. They're not very good at all. Cal Poly, Northridge, Fullerton, Riverside, Hawaii, and even Long Beach. The only thing Long Beach has going for them, they might be the one dark horse I'd look at, is they've had a bear of an out-conference schedule, and they're basically at home here. Anaheim is not far from Long Beach, so they might have a pro-Long Beach crowd. The problem is it's not in their gym, and that's been a problem for this Long Beach team all year. They've had major problems winning on the road. But, if they can string some stops together, maybe I'll give them a shot. But to me, this is very much Irvine's conference to lose. The Big West, some of their bad teams are really, really bad. So, as far as from a game perspective, UC Irvine should cover some numbers in this conference as well, as far as in their tournament. So, I don't know. Irvine, again, though, we've seen, with Luke Nelson, they're very difficult to beat. And Luke Nelson looks pretty damn healthy at this point. No one's beating them, if you ask me. Seton Hall, you don't like. No, I don't like Seton Hall at all. Good rebounding team, but that's about it. They're not going to go and win this conference like they've challenged to before. It's not going to happen. Conference USA down in Birmingham. Obviously, want to make this well aware of. UTEP against the spread. Been great. One covered in 13 in a row. How about that? UTEP. You want a team that's covering numbers right now? UTEP's the hottest in the country. Even hotter than Gonzaga and SMU. UTEP's covered 13 in a row. Great stuff Tim Floyd has done there. Really great stuff. He's really, really been impressive. This team at one point looked lost. But, he threw in that defense, became that defensive stalwart coach that we know he can be. They've won and covered a lot of games in a row. Dominique Artis, the guard, Omega Harris has been great, and Tim Floyd doing his thing. So, look out for them covering some numbers. Do we think they can win this conference? No. Again, I'll go chalk here. This Conference USA has not been very good either this year. You definitely have some high tempo, high caliber offensive teams. Obviously, Marshall and Rice and Charlotte and Middle Tennessee. But you get some pretty good defensive teams as well. Old Dominion's very good. UTEP's good defensively. Same with Middle Tennessee. So, it's a tough one here. This conference, again, I think Middle Tennessee's been here. They're going to earn the automatic bid. I just don't see anyone on their level. Maybe if UTEP can keep making runs, but UTEP's good ATS. They're not very good straight up though. They're still, they still finished 14-16 on the year. So, we'll see. MAC, this is a tough one. The interesting thing about the MAC is in the first round, the higher seed hosts. So you're going to have some games, at regular gyms. Then the second round goes over to Cleveland. So kind of interesting the way this all plays out. So Akron, they're not going to have to play at home. They're going to play in the queue. So they're going to kind of wait for everyone else to get there. So, flip a coin in this conference. You want to kind of try to, figure what things out in the MAC. Any team can win this conference tournament. I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe other than Miami of Ohio, I think anyone can win this conference. Would it surprise me if Central Michigan made a run? No, it wouldn't. This conference is a total shit show. A lot of scoring, not a ton of defense. The two teams that I think will vie for this conference, obviously Akron. I like the way they played in their final game. I think they kind of got it straightened out a little bit. they're the team to beat. The way they could shoot. Isaiah Johnson's fantastic down low. And they're well coached. Keith Dambrot's a good coach. Plus, it's kind of a home atmosphere for the Zips here. The only other team, obviously, Buffalo's interesting. I kind of like the 2-seed Ohio. I like Kenny Kaminsky. Simmons is not Simmons. Jaron Simmons. Great guard. Could be one of the best guards in this conference. Maybe other than Keene and Rayson. Jaron Simmons is great. It's a shame Campbell went down with an injury because this is a good basketball team. They're well coached. They shoot well, and they kind of do everything you wanted them to do offensively. Watch out for Ohio, but Akron probably the team to beat. You think Virginia can win it all? Far and away the best defensive team in the country. If they got hot offensively, look out. Yeah, Eddie, the problem is they're not going to get hot offensively. I don't think they have the ability to get hot offensively. They don't have anyone. You're not just going to automatically become, Michael. Not all 5 players can become Michael Jordan. They have about 2 guys that I'm, I like offensively. I mean, I really got to tell you. I mean, they're inside players. I mean, guys like Salt. I mean, he's useless offensively. I mean, Prontis is good. He's more of a distributor. I'm not really. Look, Kyle Guy had one good game. I'm not really sure that he's a scorer. Prontis can be dangerous, but he's not going to put you on his back. This is a decent team. They might win a game, but they're not going to win anything long term. I'm sorry. They're not going to win this conference. They're not going to win anything in the tournament. Let's see where Joe has them currently. Where are we at here? Virginia. Currently, he has them as a 4 seed against an Akron. I got to tell you, if they play Akron, I could see them getting upset in the first round. Mark my words. They're just not very good. Defensively, they're good, but other than that, I'm just not really interested. I think Tony Bennett's great. I think defensively, he's a genius. I love watching them play defense. If you said to me, hey, rank the best defensive teams in the country, who do you want at the end of a game? I'm going to go with Virginia, definitely. I just don't think they're very good offensively. And I think this year, Malcolm Brogdon is not walking through the door. What up to Guan White? Guan, how you doing, buddy? Anton's in here. What up, Anton? How you doing? Welcome in. If you could pick one long shot to win it all, who would it be? Wow. No, what do you mean by long shot? I mean, do you mean like, do I think a 16 seed can do anything? Or what do you mean by that? Or like a 50-1 kind of team. I've given those. I think like there are a couple. I gave out SMU. I really like SMU. I think they're still pretty high end, probably over 30-1. Butler, I bet them at 66-1 the other day. You want to go really deep? Look, I mean, I don't think anything deeper than that can win. I would go Butler, SMU, Dayton. You want me to go really deep? Look, I'll be honest. I think a team, and I might be crazy, and I think, Donnie, you can agree with this. I really believe Florida Gulf Coast has some tools. I think they could really do some damage as a 14 seed. If they're a 14 team seed, or like possibly somehow a 13, I could see them doing some damage. They are really athletic. They have some really good guards. They're well coached. Norelia is fantastic. We'll see. But, none of those teams are going to win. I mean, I don't think you're 100% right. Dunk City's alive and well. They're just like that team, a couple years ago, possibly better. One team I think, you might win a game or two, might surprise a little bit. I like what I saw out of Princeton, what I've seen out of Princeton. This Princeton team's pretty damn good. They flew through the Ivy. I mean, the Ivy's been absolutely a joke. Again, I know they don't have any top 100 wins other than Bucknell, which, okay. But, other than that, I mean, their offense is awesome. They play really good defense. And the Ivy's gotten better. Problem I have is, who have they really beaten at the end of the day? They only have one top 100 win, which is, kind of hard to get past. On the road they're pretty good, but look, I mean, most of their wins are against 150 or worse. I mean, look at that out of conference. Hampton, Cal Poly, Liberty, Lafayette, and Hawaii. Nothing to write home about. Purdue, I'm not particularly high on Purdue. I like Swanigan. That's about it. So other than Swanigan, I'm just not interested. Their guards aren't very good. They're just like last year. This is exactly how they were last year. They had good bigs with Haas and Swanigan, but their guards are horrible. They're not very good. Matthews, decent. They're okay. They're just not good enough to make a run in the tournament. And Haas is one of the weakest individuals at his height I've ever seen. A guy that big should be way better than he is. Luckily they have Swanigan, who I think is the player of the year, personally. I don't think, we look at what he's done and say to ourselves, he's a great player, good player. Obviously Frank Mason gets love and Lonzo Ball gets up because they're flashy guards. We have to look at what Caleb Swanigan has done to get where he is. I urge you all, read the article about Caleb Swanigan that was in, I believe, Sports Illustrated. Fantastic stuff. Or somewhere. Really good stuff. This guy has had 24 double-doubles this year. We have to look at what he's done. Fantastic. Best big in the country, if you ask me. Best. And he's improved significantly. Watch out for him at the next level. He might be a really, really good player at the next level. I know there are concerns. His motor at times. Is he a guy that is focused enough? He had some eating issues at times, but I think from what I've heard now, he's totally focused. Has a house on campus. He lives alone. He's very focused with his diet. He's a load. Really good kid. Really good player. I wish they would have had a guard that I wish Robbie Hummel was still there. He was the guy that I loved as a guard, Robbie Hummel or somebody like that. I just don't think they have good enough guard play. ACC is going to dominate the tournament again. I don't know about that. Let's be really honest here. We can look at the bracket. We talked about that conference. I talked about Carolina before. Obviously, they're fantastic. We know that. Duke definitely has the abilities, but again, we're in March and we're still talking about they have the abilities. I wouldn't be surprised to see them lose the first round with anyone. I think FSU is extremely overrated. I think Syracuse, they're not even going to get to the tournament. Miami can't win away from, they can't score. They can't score. When was the last time Miami scored more than 60 points? Louisville? I think they're a dark horse. I don't think they're good enough either. I like their guards. Mitchell and Snyder are great. Are they Peyton, are they Siva and Russ Smith? I don't think so. Virginia, we talked about them. I don't think they can win anything. Wake? Virginia Tech? I'm sorry, but I don't think the ACC is that good. They got a couple good teams. They got 3 or 4 really good teams. But you go past 4, I'm skeptical to believe what you're saying. And by good, do I think this team can make the Elite 8? Can they make the Final 4? I think the only team in this conference that probably can make the Final 4 is UNC. I don't think Duke has they don't have a true point guard. They don't. And they're too raw. Harry Giles needs to come back for 2 more years. They've had too many issues this year. Louisville's good. I could see it. Notre Dame don't have any size. I think the ACC is a little overrated, personally. Okay, best gambit. Clearly, we know you're a Duke fan. We know it. You don't have to keep with this hidden agenda every time. We get it. You like the ACC. I don't think it's very good. If it was your show, I would clearly say to you, hey, you know what? Okay. But again, I don't think they're very good. You can try to push your agenda. We know you have that agenda. They don't play the tournament on the road. Oh, okay. So let me ask you a question. I love those people. I love those people that say, well, they don't play the tournament. It's just neutral court. Everyone's on the road. No one's going home at night. Stop. Stop saying that. They're all on the road. So if I have a bad road team, just because it says N beside it, doesn't mean it's not on the road. Syracuse chose to get on a bus, go to an airport, and go on the road. Stop with it. Stop saying it's not on the road. Yes, it is. But yeah, I don't think the ACC is that good. They've got some teams. But I think the real talent, out west. Oregon, Arizona. Teams like that. Those are the teams you're going to beat. Villanova, they're not obviously out west. Villanova, you got Kansas. I really think SMU's good. They are really good. There's a lot of teams that I think are better than most of the teams in the ACC. Yeah, throw UCLA in there. I don't know that UCLA has the defense to get to the finals, the Final Four, but we'll see. Let's get back to it here. So yeah, the MAC. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Akron's good, and again, you're going to have some value ATS in this conference. A lot of overs, that kind of thing. But from a perspective of who's going to win, I don't know. Flip a coin. Go to your dog and say to him, look, we got 10 teams here. Pick the one you like. And that's what I'd bet on. Other than Miami of Ohio, like I said, I think anyone can win this conference. Honestly. So, yeah, we'll see. Let's move on. MEAC, one of my favorite conferences. I'm excited about the MEAC. For anyone that doesn't know, and again, I know we have some new listeners out there. Look, I love the small conferences. That's just how I do it. I enjoy it. I think there's a lot of money to be made in it, and that's where I look at. This MEAC conference is significantly good year after year. You have teams like Coppin State, teams like Hampton, teams like Norfolk State. There's teams in this conference that have knocked off the big boys. You asked Missouri a couple years ago about that. Ask Kansas a number of years ago about that. This MEAC team, they have some ballers coming through here. And I'm going to tell you right now, North Carolina Central is a good basketball team. Kenneth Moten, great coach. This is a good team. And this conference is going to be interesting. You got Norfolk State. You got Hampton, who was always there. This one's up for grabs. I think it's going to go through NC Central, but this conference down in Norfolk this week, going to have some interesting things going on. I will tell you this. There are definitely some teams to bet on in the MEAC. There are also some teams you can bet against. You look at some of these teams, and they're hideous. Some of the worst in the country. Florida A&M, Savannah State. You want to watch a game and have some fun, watch a Savannah State game. And they shoot the most threes in the country. High tempo, love to run up and down. It's going to be fun. Yeah, they did. But you got to remember, a lot of people didn't play in that game. I mean, they had everything wrapped up. They had nothing to play for there. So, again, I don't really leave it to you to always bring stuff like that up. That doesn't surprise me. Did you see the record this year, though? The game didn't mean anything. But, yeah, I mean, they did lose to A&T. And A&T got their first Division win. I got the feeling A&T, they were kind of gifted that win. But we'll see. So, yeah, I would probably took at Norfolk State. I think Norfolk State defensively is very good. They're a team that I think at least plays some sort of semblance of defense. It's going to go through Central, though. I mean, they're kind of year after year a team that you have to look at in this conference. They made the tournament a couple years ago. They're going to be there at the end. So take a shot there with maybe North Carolina Central. So SMU starting five is as good as anyone in the country. Yeah, it is. I mean, other than their starting five, that's about all they have. But they're cohesive. You don't need a lot of depth when you know how to manage the depth. When you know how to manage your team. They could just continue to do it. People keep saying, well, depth's going to catch up to them. Depth's going to catch up to them. I mean, it hasn't hurt them since, they've lost. I mean, let's just break this down for a second with SMU. This SMU team has lost once since December 1st. They've lost one time. And it was at Cincinnati. One time they've lost since December 1st. Astounding. Not many teams can say that. Actually, I don't think anyone can say that. If there's anyone, is there any team out there that hasn't lost since December 1st? Probably not many. It's impressive. Really is. And you look at all their losses. I mean, they're all at the beginning of the year. They were all before December 1st, other than that one. USC, Boise, and Michigan. And 2 of those teams are going to be in the tournament. They're not going to get underseeded. They fought hard. What this team has done, what this team has been through, Larry Brown, the sanctions that they had, they couldn't make tournaments. They were spurned last year. This team is 3rd in the country defensively. They're a fantastic rebounding team, and they're cohesive. Sometimes when you have too many bodies, you have too many bodies. Like Florida State's good and all. They have a ton of athletes, but look at how it's all worked out for them. They just sometimes have too many people. You got to work all these minutes in. They have a starting 6 or 7, and that's good enough. They don't need anyone else. These are kids at the end of the day. We have to understand that. These are kids. These are kids that are 19 to 20 years old. They don't need a ton of rest. They don't need to sit for forever. And it's astounding to me that Semi Ojeleye couldn't make Duke's roster. Semi Ojeleye is better than 80% of the players that play at Duke. And somehow, Coach Krzyzewski couldn't find time for this kid. Watch out for him. I'd love to see him get his get some revenge against Duke. I mean, it probably won't happen, but it'd be cool. They're well coached too. Janovich has done a great job there. They're efficient, 47% from the field. They make free throws. Good 3-point shooting team. You look at their top 4 players, all 4 shooting it at above 42% from 3. Impressive team. Very efficient. Watch out for SMU. I'll be interested to see where they're seated. We all know the committee can at times do some interesting things as far as seedings are concerned. I feel like they get a favorable draw just because of kind of been spurned. But I mean, Lenardi has them as a 5 seed. I think that'll be fine. I would love to see them get that 4 seed just because, we all know what happens with 5-12 matchups. But let them get like a Xavier at 12. They'll crush Xavier. They'll crush them. And you look at their top 100 wins. I mean, they have 8 of them. So I mean, it's pretty good. Beat Cincinnati, beat Pittsburgh, beat Bakersfield. I'll tell you what, Bakersfield's going to win the WAC. So that's a great win. TCU, okay, Stanford. Not a particularly amazing schedule, but pretty much beating everyone in front of them. Yeah, that'd be awesome to see them play Duke. Kind of go in there with kind of David Goliath type of story. Be awesome. But yeah, so yeah, watch out for SMU. Mountain West is an interesting conference. I think this one is another one where there's a ton up for grabs here. And a lot of teams can win. I mean, obviously Nevada's the number 1 seed, but does anyone think that Nevada's a shoo-in to win this conference? I don't think they are. Watch out for New Mexico. I think they're an interesting team. I really do. They've had kind of a tough year, but with Tim Williams healthy, New Mexico's pretty good. I mean, if they can get past New Mexico, I think they'll give Nevada a good game. The team that I'm interested in looking at is down at the bottom. And I know people are going to go crazy when I say this. I think SDSU got a pretty good draw, to be honest with you. I mean, they get UNLV, who they should beat. Again, this Aztecs team's had some really poor luck at times. So it wouldn't surprise me to see them lose to UNLV. But they have historically very good numbers. They should be able to beat UNLV. And then they get, Boise, who, I think is a pretty decent team. I don't think they're unbeatable or anything. It wouldn't surprise me to see the Aztecs beat them already by 12 this year. You look at their draw, it's not bad. I mean, I know they got to play in the first game, but Boise, Colorado State beat them twice on buzzer beaters. Don't be surprised to see Steve Fisher's team in the final. Don't be surprised. All I'm going to say. They've owned this conference. They've been there for a long time. Don't be surprised to see them get to the final. And what's great about it is everyone above them, Nevada, Fresno, New Mexico, those 3 teams, they avoid till the final. So they're going to be a big dog in this conference. Wouldn't be surprised. They've done it before, and they have the best coach in the conference. So, we'll see. Duke had Winslow, Suleiman, Cook, Matt Jones. Okay, first of all, Suleiman didn't even finish his career with them. They banished him as well, and he went to Maryland and played better. Winslow, I'll give to you. Quinn Cook, okay. But Matt Jones? Come on, dude, really? You think Matt Jones? Do you think Matt Jones is better for Duke than Semi Ojeleye? Come on, man. Matt Jones is a good defender, but that's about it. He didn't do anything else very good. Can't score either. I find it crazy he couldn't find some minutes there. So I am high. Again, maybe it's a little homerish, but don't be surprised to see the Aztecs make a run. I could see them losing the first game, too. So we'll see. Couple others here. Best game, but we're going to have to banish you from talking about Duke. I mean, we get it, dude. I mean, we get it. You like Duke. I mean, how many times do we have to argue with you about Duke? I mean, you're so... It's like arguing with Ryan about Michigan. It just gets old. It's pathetic having to listen to it. I'm just sick of hearing it. So how do you know that he's a better defender than Ojeleye? Because Ojele's pretty good. So how is he a better defender? What makes you say he's a better defender? Because he happened at Duke and he didn't? Stop being such a homer. It's not a good look. We got some updated scores. Looks like Sanford's going to go down, so I'm finally going to lose. Whatever. It is what it is. It sucks when you have those teams. I've had some good luck, though, so I'm not totally upset. It is what it is. I thought the line was off. I did my numbers. I had it at 5. It was 8. Took a shot with it. Sanford had been rolling. Great cover team. But they're shooting 31% from the field. There's nothing I can say about it. East Tennessee's shooting 13 for 20 from the three-point line. What can I do about that? I capped it. Thought it was a good play. It's losing. And it also doesn't help that T.J. Cromer. Think about this. You talk about my luck. East Tennessee State has 53 points. T.J. Cromer has 34 of them. He has 34 points with 15 minutes left. What can you do about that? He has 9 threes in 25 minutes. What can you do about that? Just bad play. I don't even think it's a bad play. Just bad luck. So whatever. Pick it up and move on. You got some other interesting games going on as we speak. Obviously with some tournament implications. Iona's on a 15-0 run. Looks like that. Wow. How about that? Iona up 42-34 against 17-0 run. Wow. Yeah, that'll happen. St. Peter's the darling of this conference. Everyone was high on them, including me. That Tim Cluse Iona team, they can really jump on you. So we'll have to keep abreast of what's going on there. South Dakota State hammering Denver. Interesting one in the Horizon. That Horizon Conference, wow. What a shit show that conference has become. I'll tell you, though, Northern Kentucky, talked about them all year on my podcast and things like that. Doing some good things. Didn't get by Wright State. You never know. And then you have some other ones, kind of a little bit more meaningless, games late in the seasons. Definitely some things heating up in some of these conference games. Michigan up big on Nebraska, 39-21. That game is meaningless. Then you got a little IPFW and Omaha. I think the first one in 90 is going to win that one. Fort Wayne, Omaha. Just kind of shadowing some things there. Does UNCW getting that large, but if they lose their tournament? That's a good question. I don't think they're going to lose their tournament, so I don't think they'll have to worry about it. But I'll tell you what, though. You look at what they did today. You dropped over 100 in a tournament game. Wow. Impressive. 105-94, high-scoring game. Yeah, I don't think they're going to lose to Charleston. It'll be interesting. Charleston obviously at home in this conference, but a total clash in styles. You have UNCW up-tempo, like the run, high up-tempo offense, a great rebounding team, not a great defensive team. But you look at the games this year. Split, 65-59, 66-67. So, close games. I think UNC will get it done. I would imagine. You look at their resume. They beat East Tennessee State, Middle Tennessee State. They lost. Played Toledo. Played Bonaventure. Campbell, and obviously better than we thought. Clemson. I don't think they'll get an at-large bid, honestly. If Wichita couldn't get one at 29-4, they were still in the last, and they were odd men out. I don't know that Wilmington will either, but we'll see. I think they'll win it though. Talk about how free throw percentage affects tournament games. For instance, Kansas and UNC don't shoot them well, and they're great ATS teams. Well, yeah, keep in mind though. Again, that's very situational because it's whoever they're playing. You never know. Maybe they're playing a team that's worse, at the free throw line. It's all about kind of where the team they're playing is. Again, you have to remember, UNC's maybe not good as a team, but you have to look at the end of games. Are the people that have the ball in their hands, are they good free throw shooters? There's a reason West Virginia loses a lot of close games because their guards, many of them, shoot 60% from the line. They're going to have the ball late in games. That's why they shoot. So you look at UNC. They shoot 70%, which I'll tell you right now, 70% is fine. I'm good with that. If I can get a 70% team, that's good for me. And you look at late in games, Joel Berry, 83%, Isaiah Hicks, 81%, Justin Jackson, 76%. So, yeah, they're fine for me. Kansas, they're another team. You look at late in games. Do I want Josh Jackson shooting free throws? No. Look, at the end of the day, most of the teams that are going to be in the 69-team field, most of them are very good foul shooting teams. Obviously, once in a while, you have a West Virginia or a Seton Hall type of team where they're just none of them are good. But most of the poor foul shooting teams are in the lower levels. Kansas, yes. I'm not in love with that, but Devontae Graham and Frank Mason both 78%. Svi, not terrible. You could put LeGerald Vick in too. He's at 82%. So, I think they're good enough. But your team's going to look for Josh Jackson and Landon Lucas late in games. That's just kind of the crux of it. It is what it is. But I think as you get deeper and deeper into the tournament, it's obviously about matchups and, kind of certain things. But it doesn't hurt you too much. Sometimes you're just getting lucky. Look, I've seen teams that shoot 80% from the line that, you look at today. Today was a perfect example. Lehigh shoots 78% from the field or from the free throw line. They're 7th in the country from the foul line. Late in the game, in the overtime, they were missing free throws left and right. It doesn't matter who you are. Sometimes teams just get tired. You go into a 2 overtime game, you throw all the stats out the window. And today, it could have cost Lehigh. But this is a team that's 7th in the country in foul shooting. Today, though, you look from the line, they were 24 for 30. They missed 6 free throws. Still shot 80%, but those 6 free throws were big. They were late in the game. Tim Kempton, late in the game, he could have lost them the game because of that. So, for the most part, during the season, I look at it just because it's more pronounced. But when you get into the tournament, it's really situational at that time. Keep going with some questions. Again, guys, feel free to ask questions. Whatever you have, I'll try to get to. I'm seeing some people that are saying, let me know when you go live. Sorry, man. I hope you see that we're live. I don't usually check Twitter during the show. It kind of throws me off. Is CBS having a 2-hour shit show like last year? I don't know. I do know that we're at SBR Forum going to have something, I believe. I think we're going to do a live show during the bracket. So that'll be fun. So I urge all of you, watch us. It'll be way funner than watching CBS. We'll have all the roundtable people, and we'll have me and Donnie and Ed Fang and Ian Cameron and Drew Martin. I'm sure we'll have plenty of people on. It'll be fun. What teams do you have your eye on going to conference tournaments this week? Good question. Well, I have a couple. I'm looking at some teams that are kind of off the beaten path. I really like this Cal Bakersfield team out in the WAC. And I think with Grand Canyon not being involved in this conference tournament, which sucks, if they were in this conference tournament, this Grand Canyon program is going places. They're going to be really good in 5 years. Watch. I think, it's a shame that they're not going to be able to compete this year in this tournament because I think they would probably win it. But now that they're not in it, I like this Bakersfield team. This Cal Bakersfield team went to the tournament last year, gave Oklahoma a great game in the first round before bowing out, ended up covering that game as well as 15-point underdogs. They're well coached, and they play really good defense. They're 13th in the country in defense. You talk about how good they are defensively. They held SMU to 49 points. So watch out for Cal State Bakersfield. I really like them in the WAC. They're really a team that I'm looking at coming into the week. A couple others I'm looking at. Texas Southern in the SWAC. They've really been good. I mean, they've won 10 of 11 overall. They're the best team in this conference by a pretty wide margin. The crazy thing about Texas Southern is they're really good now, but they could have been even better. Their best player, Derek Griffin, left the team to go to the NFL draft. He's a football player. He left the team early to have a shot in the NFL. If he was there, they would be even better. This is a guy that averaged 11 and 11 per game. They faced Arizona, Louisville, TCU, Cincinnati, Baylor. Watch out for Texas Southern. They're going to cover some numbers this week. Also, I'm looking at, obviously, I mentioned San Diego State. I really believe they have a shot with that draw. I'll be looking at them interestingly. The MEAC, Norfolk State, NC Central. That conference actually gets started tomorrow. I'm looking forward to maybe at the end of the show we'll take a look at early lines. Who wins the Southland? I was going to get to that next. My money's going to be on Corpus Christi, actually. I know that the New Orleans Privateers are kind of the darlings, the number one seed, but, they're not playing particularly well coming into the tournament. They've lost 2 of 3, I think 2 in a row. And I'm a little concerned. I like Eric Thomas a lot. This New Orleans team's really good, 20 points a game. He's been great. This tournament, I think, is going to be decided in that second round game between Corpus Christi and Stephen F. Austin. Stephen F. Austin, obviously, we know about them. They've kind of owned this conference, but Brad Underwood's gone. They're not as good as they were. I like Corpus Christi. I think they're a team that's going to make a run in this one. The Islanders are good. Rayshawn Thomas, senior forward, 6'8", 230. He's averaging 22 and 8 this year, guys. Good player. Team to look out for. That'll be a great final. If it's Corpus Christi, New Orleans, that's going to be a great conference final. I think both those teams, it'll probably be like a pick-em number. I think Corpus Christi, they beat them. New Orleans beat them this year, so they'll have some revenge to work on as well. I'll put my money on Texas Corpus Christi. I think they get it done. I like Rashawn Thomas a lot. That's kind of it, guys. We kind of went into everything. Not as in-depth as I probably want to, but it is really hard doing a show on your own. You kind of keep talking for literally an hour. So, it's always tough to do it, but, I like to give out information. Is there any hope for Incarnate Word? Probably not. The Word probably has no shot. Surprised you even know who they are. Most people don't even know they're a D1 team. They're pretty new though. But no, I don't believe so. Actually, it's funny. Incarnate Word, actually, I don't believe will be in this tournament. Actually, they're if you're and I want to explain this to you guys. There are teams that you won't see. Incarnate Word will be one of them. That's kind of actually why I was a little confused. They're not in this tournament. Same with Grand Canyon. If you make a switch to D1, you can't make the conference tournaments. So you have 4 years after you make the switch from D2 to D1 where you are not able to participate in tournaments. So Incarnate Word won't be in there. I think he was trying to tease me on that one. Sunbelt, I think it's going to go through UT Arlington. Obviously, UT Arlington was bounced last year by UL Monroe. Kind of a surprising finish. This team is the best team in this conference. Kevin Hervey's great. They have a really good team down there, and I think that it goes through them. I think they're going to have some unfinished business this year, and I don't really think there's anyone in the Sun Belt that's that good. I mean, obviously you got Ron Hunter and Georgia State, and Georgia Southern, and Little Rock and teams like that. But I think UT Arlington's kind of the class. I mean, you look at their schedule. I mean, they beat Texas, St. Mary's, lost to Arkansas by 4. This is a good basketball team. I think the tournament's going to go through UT Arlington, but we see some crazy stuff in some of these conference tournaments. I mean, how about the Horizon? I mean, the Horizon League could be won by they're going to be a bid stealer, a total bid stealer there. Because I think a lot of people thought it was Oakland or Valpo. You look at the teams left. I mean, who do you have left there after tonight? Let's look at this here quick. I mean, Green Bay's out, Oakland's out, Valpo's out. Left in this conference, you have Northern Kentucky, Wright State, Illinois, Chicago, and Youngstown. Crazy. So someone's gonna steal a bid, I think, somewhere. Will it be the Sun Belt? I don't think. I think Texas Arlington's really good. Do you still see Gonzaga winning the whole thing? Yeah, I do. I think they're the best team, and I've talked about it before. I think offensively, defensively, as far as efficiency, they're very high. I mean, it is what they're very deep. They have a lot of guys that can come in and play. Karnowski's a load. Again, you have to play a perfect game to beat them. I will be interested to see how they play in the late rounds, when they get to the Sweet 16. But you even look at last year, they got to the Sweet 16. They should have beat Syracuse probably. Syracuse kind of played a perfect game against them. I do. I think they're a Final Four team. And after that, who knows? I think against Carolina, why can't they play with Carolina? They have the bigs. Zach Collins, Tilly, Karnowski, John Williams. I mean, they have guys. Guard plays great. They need to shore it up a little bit depth-wise, but I think they'll be fine. They're going to be fine. They can match up with anyone. Who's your favorite mid-major player of the year? Probably Chris Clemens from Campbell. I loved watching him play in the title game, and all the games this week. It was awesome. Awesome kid, good player. He'll be back next year. So watch out for Chris Clemens. He was fantastic. I mean, that was really awesome watching him. It made me think back to when Jimmer Fredette was with BYU. I mean, just pulling up from anywhere, and he was awesome. I mean, it was really fun to watch, and I liked it. I think all year though. I mean, I'll tell you who I'm looking forward to watching. Mike Daum from South Dakota State. He's playing now, obviously against Denver. Looks like they're going to move on. He's a great player. He dropped 50 a couple games ago. Really good big. Just a kid that really plays hard. It's going to be a great game. It's going to be basically a home game for both teams. It's going to be the Battle of South Dakota. I've been high on South Dakota. I had them last night. They're the one loser I had. They won by 9, laying 9.5. But Daum's great. I really like him. Really like his game. I don't know. It would have nice to be seen Alec Peters a little bit more. He obviously is a guy that is a great scorer. Kind of does it all. Going forward, definitely Daum. Who else do I like? I'll tell you what. I mean, you want a pure scorer? I don't know, man. There's so many good players. Rashawn Thomas for Corpus Christi is fantastic. A guy like him, or Keon Johnson from Winthrop. We saw how good he is. You had Norelia for Florida Gulf Coast. Eric Mika, BYU. We're not going to see him anymore. But there's some good players for sure. And what's crazy? A lot of them, not going to see anymore. All the good players, they're pretty much out. Chris Clemens, Dallas Moore, Markel Fultz, Randy and Wasser, they're going to be out Tuesday. Montana State's Tyler Hall. There's a lot of good players, and most of them are on bad teams. So, yeah, watch Tim Kempton. Watch out for him. Watch out for Lehigh. Maybe they can beat Bucknell. Bucknell looked bad today. And again, Lehigh did beat them twice this year. So, that'll be a great one. That's the conference tournament I'm looking forward to the most. I actually was considering even going up to the game. It's not far from where I live. Hey, Donnie, get in touch with me after the show. Would you want to meet up with me and go to the game? I'd honestly be willing to drive up there. I know you live in the area. Would you consider going? I'd definitely go. Yeah, Keon Johnson's great down in Winthrop. Donnie Rarick, let me know if you're interested. I know you live up near there. Not you, Donnie. Donnie Rarick. I know you're not going. I looked it up today. It's like an hour and 40 minutes away. I'd be interested. But all right, that's going to be it. One more question: who's your Final Four going into tournament week? I'll go Gonzaga, Kansas, SMU, and I'll go. I'm going to go Arizona. I think they're going to somehow knock off Carolina, I think, into that bracket. I'm going to go Arizona, Gonzaga, Kansas, and SMU. How about that? Donnie Rarick, get in touch with me after the show, okay? Please. Actually, I can text you. I have your number. Are you talking about going to see Bucknell game? I live 25 minutes from the college. Oh, do you, Joey? I didn't know that. Yeah, I thought you lived in Upper Darby. Yeah, I'm talking about going to the game. If you go, I'll be there, probably. So, all right, guys. Everyone have a great night. I will be back tomorrow. We'll do the daily show. By the way, Mike Dahm tonight for South Dakota State, 33 points. So, he's a must-see player. Got to see him. You won't be sorry that you did. Let's look at the lines quick before we sign off tonight. Obviously, they're probably out by now. Well, maybe they aren't. I don't know. Yeah, we've got a couple. Got MAC games tomorrow. Thanks, Bernsey. Appreciate it. St. Mary's a 7-point favorite at Brigham Young. That's an interesting one. Late night, 11:30. You got the America East tomorrow. Vermont laying a big number to New Hampshire. Albany, Stony Brook. That'll be a good game. Got Howard, Coppin State. I'll be looking into that one. Coppin State might be worth a play tomorrow. Got some trash tomorrow. North Carolina A&T, Maryland Eastern Shore tomorrow. Combined 3 and yeah, I don't even want to talk about that game. Brutal. Yeah, we got some opportunities tomorrow. Decent plays. Do we have any early games? No, nothing until 7. Got the MAC. You got the America East, and you have the couple others as well. So Gonzaga, Horizon, plenty to do. We'll be back tomorrow, 5 o'clock Eastern. We'll break these games down against the spread, give you a couple free picks, and if you're interested, you want my premium picks, all you got to do is get in touch with me. Not a ton of money. People ask me, why do I sell picks? I sell picks because I work hard, do a lot of work here. Just looking to get some compensation for what I do. If you're not happy, we don't work out, you can have your money back. But, we're doing pretty well right now. So, if you want more, get in touch with me, give you a deal. We'll make some money together, and that's it. Yep, we'll talk, man. Don't. I told you. So, everyone enjoy your night. I'm going to sign off here and go watch a little IPFW and Omaha. Should be fun. Get the end of the Siona game here. Up 10 with 4 to go. So, barring something crazy, it should move on. We'll see. Let's see how it goes. I'll be back tomorrow, 5 o'clock Eastern. Join me then where we do this one more time. Everyone have a great night. Bye-bye.